Hello everyone and welcome. In this video we're going to cover Mistweaver Monk talent choices, when to use those talents, Azerite Traits and gearing, so you can keep your team topped with the right talent choices. Before we get into this video, it's important to note that this information has been gathered from the beta and talent choices or gearing might change in the upcoming weeks. Mistweaver Monks have one standard build, which gives the best healing output, utility and mobility for PvP. The standard build looks like this, but some talents can be swapped depending on which comp you face. This standard build provides the most healing output by increasing the healing of your enveloping mist and offers you good mobility from Chi Torpedo. The best pick in this tier is Mist Wrap. Mist Wrap increases the healing of enveloping mist by 10% and its duration by 1 second, making it the best talent for PvP since it offers you the most healing output in this tier. Chi Burst can be used in PvE to do more damage or be used as an AoE heal, but is not viable in PvP because it heals less than Mist Wrap. The best talent in this tier is Chi Torpedo. Chi Torpedo offers you the most mobility in this tier and is considered the best pick. This talent can be combined with the Yulon's Gift PvP talent to increase your mobility even further if needed. Tiger's Lust can be useful when you're playing a melee cleave and face a setup where your DPS will struggle to connect onto their target, for example against mage teams. Tiger's Lust can be used to increase the mobility of your partners by taking away some of your mobility. The best talent in this tier is Mana Tea. Mana Tea helps you heal more by preserving mana while healing and has a relatively short cooldown, which makes it a safe pick for PvP. Mana Tea can be used when you come out of a CC chain to top targets back up quickly without having to worry about spending mana. Spirit of the Crane can be used in 2v2, since you will be damaging a target with Blackout Kick more often in 2v2 arena than when playing 3v3 arena. This talent also works great combined with the Way of the Crane PvP talent, but should be avoided in 3v3 because you won't be able to deal as much damage in 3v3, which makes the talent less valuable than Mana Tea. The best talent in this tier is Ring of Peace. Ring of Peace has a short cooldown and gives the most value in this tier because it can be used in multiple situations. Ring of Peace can be used offensively, for example to lock players in a room away from the kill target, or defensively to save yourself or your partners when being pressured. Song of Chi can be used instead of Ring of Peace and also has a short cooldown. This talent could be picked if your team needs extra CC or you won't be needing Ring of Peace. The cooldown of Paralysis is now 45 seconds, so this talent can be used as an extra CC when Paralysis is on cooldown. Tiger Tail Sweep only reduces the cooldown of Leg Sweep by 10 seconds and is the worst talent in this tier, simply because the other two talents offer a lot more value since they can both be used for different situations. The best talent in this tier is Healing Elixir. Healing Elixir is not on global cooldown, but now doesn't automatically proc anymore and you have to use the charges yourself. Even with this change, it still remains the best overall pick in this tier because it has 2 charges on a relatively short cooldown. Dampen Harm is a good pick when you will get trained by melee cleaves to have an extra cooldown when you're out of mobility. Dampen Harm is also good versus rogue teams to pre-use it before a swap onto you. The downside of this talent is that it has a long cooldown. Diffuse Magic is a good pick versus spell cleaves as an extra cooldown when you're out of mobility. Diffuse Magic is useful when playing offensive and using your mobility to land CC, since this opens you up to a swap. Diffuse Magic is also on a short cooldown, which means you can play offensive more often to try and finish the game. The best talent in this tier is Summon Jade Serpent Statue. Summon Jade Serpent Statue offers extra healing while using Soothing Mist and has the most healing output in this tier which makes it the best pick. Invoke Gigi, the Red Crane, is a good pick when you know the game will be short, since it offers a lot of burst healing, but less healing than Summon Jade Serpent statue over time. This talent is also good versus RMP, because while Gigi is active and heals your partners, it will keep you in combat, which means you won't be able to get sapped out of any CC, for example blind. The best talent in this tier is Focused Thunder. Focused Thunder makes your Thunder Focus Tea empower the next 2 spells and is considered the best pick for Arena in this tier because it offers more stable healing output in Arena than the other talents. While Thunder Focus Tea is active, your Enveloping Mist becomes a big single target heal when used, and by having 2 charges ready, you can quickly top your team. Rising Mist can be picked for PvE or RBG instead, since it works best in content where there's more than 3 players to keep multiple HOTS active. In BfA, you can now pick 3 honor talents and choose between playing Trinket, Adaptation or Relentless. The safest and best pick as a Mistweaver is to play Trinket. Relentless could be used when facing a comp with a lot of CC, for example God comp. You should only play Relentless if you're playing a tanky comp, which can survive through a lot of damage with either CDs or off healing, for example Thundercleave. There's one PvP talent which should always be picked, regardless of what setup you face. Surging Mist should always be used, since it does a lot of healing. It's instant cast while casting Soothing Mist, and the healing is increased for every Surging Mist cast, stacking up to 2 times. Way of the Crane is played against spread pressure comps and dot cleaves, for example Shadow Cleave or Shadow Play. The downside to this talent is that it costs 1/4 of your mana pool. Way of the Crane should be used in short games as burst healing to try and finish the game quick. Or it can be used in 2v2 to help your partner create pressure. Zen Focus Tea makes you immune to kicks for 5 seconds to top someone quickly and has a relatively short cooldown. Zen Focus Tea is useful against teams with long CC chains, so you don't have to fake cast after coming out of a CC chain. For example versus RMP, or when you're being trained by melee cleaves. Counteract magic is useful versus spell cleaves. For example comps with a Boomkin or Elemental Shaman in it, to increase the healing of your Renewing Mist, which makes it easier to keep your team topped. Healing Sphere is useful against dot cleaves with an Affliction Warlock or a Shadow Priest in it to remove their dots. Healing Sphere has 3 charges on a 15-second cooldown to help you keep up with the spelling against dot cleaves. Dome of Mist is good versus comps that have multiple purges on their team, so for example any double Shaman setup. So to recap, your first talent should always be Surging Mist. For your second talent, you can pick Counteract Magic when facing a Spell Cleave with a Boomkin or Elemental Shaman, or Dome of Mist when facing a team with multiple purges, for example any double Shaman comp, or Healing Sphere when facing a dot cleave with a Shadow Priest or Affliction Warlock in it. Your third talent should then be Way of the Crane when facing a dot cleave, or when playing 2s to do some extra damage, or Zen Focus Tea when facing any other comp. Mistweaver Monks have 3 Azerite Traits which will help to increase your healing. First is Overflowing Mists. While Enveloping Mist is active, it will cast an extra heal each time the target takes damage. This trait gives a lot of extra healing in PvP, since targets are constantly taking damage. On top of that, the target you're trying to top will have Enveloping Mist active, so this trait will work passively without having to do anything. Second is Misty Peaks. When Renewing Mist heals an ally, there's a chance to gain haste for 10 seconds. This is a good trait, since haste will increase your healing by making all your HOTS tick faster. And third is Retaliatory Fury. Your spells and abilities have a chance to grant a Mastery and Absorb Shield for 10 seconds. Mastery is one of your better stats, so this trait is a good third option. Many classes benefit from stacking Azerite traits, but as a Mistweaver Monk, try to get one of each trait, since all of them combined give the most healing output. Every gear piece will have Intellect, which is the main stat for all casters. After this, the priority list looks like this: Mastery, Haste, Versatility, Critical Strike. Mastery and Haste are equal in value for Mistweaver Monks. Mastery increases your gust and mist healing, and Haste makes your hot stick faster and decreases your global cooldown time. Both stats can be picked on preference since both will give the same healing output. Haste is slightly ahead when you're looking to do more damage, for example when playing 2v2. Since Haste offers lower cooldown time on abilities and lower global cooldown time, allowing you to do more damage. Versatility could be picked to make yourself more tanky at the cost of your healing, which is why it's one of the lesser stats. Critical Strike doesn't help you with healing because of how monks work in PvP. Haste makes your hot stick faster and therefore increases your healing. Mastery also increases your overall healing, so they're simply better stats than Critical Strike. When looking at gear, you should aim to get pieces of gear with Mastery and Haste on them. For your enchants, you want to have Enchant Ring, Pact of Mastery, or Enchant Ring, Pact of Haste, depending on preference. For your weapon enchant, we recommend getting Enchant Weapon, Masterful Navigation to increase your Mastery, or Enchant Weapon, Quick Navigation to increase your Haste. For trinket choices, there are two trinkets that really stand out from the rest. Balefire Branch gives baseline Mastery and can be used to increase your intellect for 20 seconds on a 1.5 minute cooldown. This trinket is one of the better choices because of the short cooldown and long uptime, giving it a lot of value. Ignition Mage's Fuse gives baseline intellect and when used will slowly increase your haste up to 20 seconds, which will help with making your hot stick faster or help you do more damage on a 2 minute cooldown. Mistweaver Monks have a lot of choice regarding what race to play. For Alliance, the best race is Human, since they have an extra trinket for stuns from every man for himself. On top of that, humans also have 2% extra on secondary stats, which means Mastery, Haste, Versatility and Critical Strike from the human spirit. For Horde, Orc is the best pick because of two reasons. First is Hardiness, which reduces the duration of stuns on any Orc by 20%, making it appealing to most PvP players. Second is Blood Fury, which can be used to increase your intellect for 15 seconds on a 2 minute cooldown. This combined with a small cooldown or trinket can be enough to top a target quickly and could end up saving big cooldowns for later on into the game. Which race is best will depend on the situation. Human will be better when you're gonna get trained by a melee cleave the entire game, since you will always have an extra trinket to rely on. The best overall pick however is Orc, because you will spend less time in CC and you can line up Blood Fury with a small cooldown to quickly top someone. And you will spend the majority of the game at the pillar trying to avoid CC, lining up CC chains with your partners, or trying to kite the enemy team when they train you. For the healing rotation, you want to have Summon Jade Serpent statue up at all times. Then start with applying Renewing Mist on your team and always keep Renewing Mist active on as much targets as you can. Renewing Mist now has 2 charges, so keeping it active on multiple targets shouldn't be too hard. Renewing Mist also procs your Mastery, so it's no longer just a hot. Also make sure you always have 1 charge of Renewing Mist on cooldown, so it can recharge while you still have 1 charge available. Start channeling Soothing Mist. If the target still requires healing and you can't top them with just Soothing Mist, use Enveloping Mists. If the target still requires healing after this, use Surging Mist until the target is topped again. Healing multiple people at the same time as a Mistweaver Monk is the same rotation. Keep Renewing Mist active on all targets and resume your normal rotation until all targets are topped. To quickly top a target in danger, you will have to use a cooldown to top them back up. Use a charge of Thunder Focus Tea and use Enveloping Mist because it now gives an extra heal when used together with Thunder Focus Tea. Use Revival if the target still requires healing after this. Remember that Revival also removes magical effects, including dots or CC like Polymorph, Fear or Hammer of Justice. Your Life Cocoon should only be used as a last resort when the target is about to die. It can be used when you come out of a CC chain, for example to quickly heal the target back up. Keep in mind that Life Cocoon no longer applies HOTS, so you will still have to cast your single target rotation to top the target. Your ideal opener as a Mistweaver Monk would be to place your Transcendence on a pillar to use it as mobility or to escape to safety. After placing your Transcendence on the pillar, place your Jade Serpent statue in a good position where it will heal you or your partners. After this, use your Renewing Mist on 2 targets before your team engages the enemy team. Pick your talents and PvP talents depending on the situation. When gearing up, look for pieces with both Mastery and Haste on them. Enchant your gear with either Mastery or Haste depending on preference. And try to get one of each Azerite trait. 1 Overflowing Mist, 1 Misty Peaks, and 1 Retaliatory Fury. That's gonna be it for this guide, guys. Please leave a plus skill if you enjoyed it and let me know what you think in the comments. And I'll see you guys next time.